This week was a really busy week for Big Finish news and Big Finish announcements. We'll start with this one, which sort of flew under the radar a little bit. We've got some details and casting announcements for the upcoming second Doctor box sets, which are coming out later on this year. The first one's due for release in July. We've got The Second Doctor Goes Beyond War Games. Story and cast details are released today for the first box set of The Second Doctor Adventures, starring Michael Troughton as the Doctor. So there's a picture of Michael here in a sound-padded, soundproofed room. Lots of paddings on the wall, reading from a script with his microphone there. Moments after he's sentenced to the forced changing of his appearance and exile on Earth, as featured in 1969's The War Games, the Doctor finds himself mysteriously unchanged and in an unknown world. It's the beginning of two action-packed full-cast audio adventures in which he encounters his old enemies, the Daleks and the Ice Warriors. Nicholas Briggs once again returns as the Daleks, and in an exciting new casting twist, Katie Manning stars as the Ice Warrior Queen, Lady Zalander. And in the opening tale, the Big Finish's third Doctor actor Tim Treloar, he features, but this time he's in a new role. Those of you who have not been paying attention, Michael Troughton has recently stepped into the role of the second Doctor for Big Finish. There was a third Doctor story called The Annihilators a couple of months ago where he made an appearance there, which apparently takes place during this Beyond War Games saga, this Beyond War Games series. We have casting announcements and plot details here. The Final Beginning by Mark Wright and Nicholas Briggs. Believing he has escaped exile and a change to his appearance by the Time Lords, the Doctor finds himself lost on a snowy alien world. He is not alone. Prospectors at Katrana and Silas are stranded on this nightmare planet, but without his TARDIS, the Doctor is powerless to help them. Seeking answers and freedom, the Doctor's hopes and suspicions are aroused when a crashed TARDIS is discovered in the snow. Are Katrana and Silas as innocent as they seem? And who is Raven, the young woman who watches from afar? Long-buried secrets are about to be revealed in this icy wasteland, and the Doctor discovers that every end has a terrifying new beginning. And Wrath of the Ice Warriors by Andrew Smith. Plunged into the middle of a desperate mission by his new masters, the Doctor is delighted to be reunited with Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart of UNIT near Cape Wrath, Scotland. The Doctor's arrival coincides with the sighting of black cylinders in the sky and an attack on a trawler by a creature of the sea. The Doctor quickly realises he's dealing with Ice Warriors and investigates with the help of the Brigadier and local crofter Sheena Flynn. With a space fleet lurking in the vicinity of Jupiter, the Doctor believes the Martians are planning a new invasion of Earth, but who is the true enemy? Battle lines are drawn and the Doctor races against time to prevent Earth being caught in the crossfire. So, the Second Doctor Adventures Beyond War Games is available to pre-order now on the Big Finish website. In terms of the cast, John Culshaw, of course, is returning as the Brigadier. I think that was kind of obvious, though. And yeah, Nicholas Briggs as the Dalek, though we don't quite know which one. These are two 4-part stories, and I probably should have opened with this, basically, but for those of you who don't know, the Second Doctor regenerated at the end of the War Games, which is this 10-part epic story in 1969, where the Doctor was kidnapped by the Time Lords, his companions' memories were erased, and he was sentenced to exile because of all the meddling and the time-travelling he did. He broke the first law of time. The Second Doctor regenerated at the end of the War Games. However, this takes place after the War Games, beyond War Games, if you will. There's a theory that there's a Season 6B in which the Time Lords actually send the Doctor on adventures through the Celestial Intervention Agency, the CIA, Time Lord organization, the same ones that we allegedly maybe saw in the Timeless Child flashbacks, and also that we've seen the organization that sent the Fourth Doctor to exterminate the Daleks in Genesis of the Daleks, basically. So there's a big area that you can get mined, I guess. But yeah, Michael Troughton as the Second Doctor, he did a really good job in The Annihilators. Colour me optimistic here. We'll see how this goes. So this comes out in July 2022. We also got a cover for the 10th Doctor Classic Companions. For those of you who don't know, this comes out in September 2022, and it stars David Tennant in 3 separate adventures, where he meets K9 at the beginning of the story, and him and K9 go across time and space, and they encounter Ace, they encounter Nyssa, and they encounter Leela. Reprising their roles are Sophie Aldred, Sarah Sutton, and Louise Jameson, respectively. And of course, John Leeson is K9. So we've got Splinters by John Dorney, we've got The Stuntman by Lizzie Hopley, and Quantum of Access by Roy Gill. Great trio of writers there. Looking forward to seeing how this pans out. So this was announced at around the time where they just announced hundreds of 10th Doctor David Tennant projects at the same time. So there was 10th Doctor saturation. We still have another 10th Doctor story coming out in June, I believe, because they changed the release dates, didn't they? Yeah, so this is the third 10th Doctor project that's coming out in 2022. We've got Wink, which sees the 10th Doctor team up with the 6th Doctor, Colin Baker, to fight the Weeping Angels. We've got a story with the 10th Doctor and the War Master, played by Derek Jacobi. And this one as well. John A., if only the show would revisit Old Companions. Yeah, I think if they were to ever revisit Old Companions, they should definitely get Ace, though. Yeah, if they were to ever do that in the near future, I think they're missing a trick there, personally. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing that. However, when it comes to massive announcements, now, the understanding is that Big Finish can only do stuff from William Hartnell up until Peter Capaldi and everything in between. They can't really do anything with the current era of the show until the era has been and gone and finished. But that precedent was broke slightly because we got this announcement, and while these box sets are not going to be coming out for a good while, we finally got the announcement, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it and talking about it with you all. This news, Joe Martin and Sacha Dhawan enter the world of audio. Joe Martin and Sacha Dhawan, that's just a repeat of the headline. Big Finish Productions today announces a brand new series of adventures for the Fugitive Doctor, as played by actress Jo Martin, and a brand new series of full cast audio dramas starring Sacha Dhawan as the Master. So you can pre-order the Fugitive Doctor Adventures and the box set Call Me Master exclusively on the Big Finish website. So all we know is very basic preliminary creative credits right now. We know that Jo Martin is going to be in this box set. We've got 2 Fugitive Doctor box sets, I believe. Yeah, so we've got 2 of them slated, 2 Call Me Master ones as well, with Sacha Dhawan. Story details to follow. There's no other casting. There's a couple of production credits here. Senior producer David Richardson, producer Heather Challens, and for the Fugitive Doctor as well. We have friend of the live stream as well, Dominic Martin, who's assistant producing, producer David Richardson. So that's kind of all we have at the moment right now. But this is very exciting news. So, Fugitive Doctor Adventures. Joe Martin says, Big Finish do amazing work. They are a vital part of the fandom. I'm over the moon to be joining this iconic show. I can't wait to see what stories they have in store for the Fugitive Doctor. Story details, writers, and additional cast are being kept under wraps. But apparently this was first talked about creatively back in February, where Jason Hay-Gallery met Joe Martin at a Doctor Who convention in February. I think he means Gallifrey 1. And that was apparently where the first conversations were happening. Producer David Richardson says, what a privilege to be producing Fugitive Doctor Adventures. And there's also this line here. Where was it? Producer David Richardson says, there's a whole era to explore in those stories that follow on from Fugitive of the Judoon. So I don't think that these box sets are going to be like the Fugitive Doctor origin stories. I don't think it's going to be Fugitive Doctor with her time at the Celestial Intervention Agency. I think this is what happens after the Fugitive Doctor says to the 13th Doctor, I'd like you to get off my ship now. And then she goes away to do whatever she wants to do. So I think that's what we're dealing with here. And also, Razzle Dazzle in the chat, Carvanista as a companion. Craig Ells could definitely do it. He'd probably come back and reprise his role as Carvanista. That would be really interesting. And yeah, so 3-disc collector's edition box set or download. I am not pre-ordering this until way closer to the time, but you can pre-order it if you want to. This is also going to be Joe Martin's debut in Big Finish proper as well. But a Big Finish mainstay for a couple of years has been Sacha Dhawan. He's done a few box sets and a few adventures for Big Finish in the past. One of them I know of is the Classic Doctor's New Monsters box set, where he was in the Weeping Angel story with the 5th Doctor. Sacha Dhawan, who played the latest incarnation of the Master on TV since 2020, will reprise the role in 6 new adventures on audio, so that's 3 adventures each for 2 box sets. I absolutely adore working with a fantastic team at Big Finish, so when they asked me to play the Master in his own series, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. The Master is such a joy to play on so many levels. I can't wait to see what he's going to be getting up to without the Doctor around to hold him back. Hold on to your seats, folks. That's exciting. Out of these 2, the one that I am most excited about is Call Me Master, because Big Finish do astonishingly good work as the Master. Alex Arena composer Craig Elsa said he'd be up for it on Twitter when someone tagged him in the announcement post. Good. I hope that those conversations are being done. But yeah, the Call Me Master one is the one that I'm looking forward to the most, because Big Finish do such an incredible job with the Master. And I also think there's that, nearly a century period that he had in Spyfall Part 2, 70 years, I think he says, like 70 years of hell on Earth because he's exiled. I'm looking forward to maybe having that period be explored. There's maybe also the possibility of what drove him mad on Gallifrey, him discovering and infiltrating the Matrix and learning about those secrets of the Doctor. We also don't know what's quite happening yet with the Centenary, whether or not there's going to be any new revelations of the Timeless Child and the Master in that as well. So yeah, Hand of Omega will confirm if Dewan is after Missy or not. I don't really care, to be honest. Hand of Omega, how many Masters are we up to now? Lots. 1,500 Masters. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this on so many levels. I'm looking forward to Call Me Master. When it comes to the Fugitive Doctor as well, I'm a little bit worried, or twofold. I'm worried for twofold. Firstly, I'm worried that this will just be, let's get the great casting of Jo Martin, this great incarnation of the Doctor, and just give her generic Doctor stories. I'm worried that they'll get scripts that could have been from the 6th Doctor or the 7th Doctor, just find and replace a few things and just have Jo Martin in there, and it's just generic Doctor stories. I think Jo Martin deserves a bit more than that. We'll have to see how that pans out. But I'm also a bit worried that with these announcements that we're already getting into the narrative of Chris Chibnall wasted Jo Martin, wasted the Fugitive Doctor, so Big Finish has to pick up the slack. I'm a little bit worried about that. But like I said earlier in another segment, that maybe Chris Chibnall's hands were tied for the Series 13 and what his initial plans might have been for the Fugitive Doctor. We'll have to see how that goes. And I know that there's a comic book prequel series as well coming out in the near future. I'd be interested to know what's going on. Aidan Woodhead, that's kind of what we feared for Eccleston, so I don't think we need to worry about it. But the thing with Eccleston, though, when compared to the Fugitive Doctor, is that the 9th Doctor basically had a fully fleshed out story and presence on screen for those 13 episodes. With Fugitive Doctor, we haven't had that yet. So this would feel a lot more like Big Finish picking up the slack for Colin Baker, taking the lost potential of that era of the show in the 80s, and then transposing it into the audio medium. But the big difference there is that Doctor Who was off the air at the time, and Colin Baker was like 2 Doctors removed from the incumbent at the time. Paul McGann was the incumbent Doctor when Big Finish started. So there's that sort of justification there. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to these. I'm absolutely looking forward to these a lot.